Next witness.
Defense reconjures Satan to the stand.
Lou, you can come in now. Bailiff, go fetch him. Go fetch Satan.
Alone?
Go! Have a seat, Lou.
I want to file a formal fucking complaint, Frank.
Oh, this ain't about the turkey roll in the cafeteria, you nice it, Lou?
No, this is not about the turkey roll in the cafeteria. What this is about, Frank, is I recognize a couple of your court officers by the vending machines, okay? Ask me how I know this, Frank.
Lou.
Don't you fucking Lou me, you little fag. God has been stealing souls again, hasn't he?
Help for you, me. Here's escort the jury out.
Yes, right this way, quickly now. Quickly. Yes.
And you, Honeywell, you're on my fucking list, hayseeds, so don't expect any last-second reprieves. Shorts and a tank top stretch, pack light!
This is unacceptable behavior.
Don't you tell me what's unacceptable behavior! Those two court officers are mine, Frank. Their souls in hell, safe and secure. Fuck! What? I don't got enough to contend with? Now I gotta deal with God cruising the barnyards of hell? Poaching condemned poultry like some silver fox-tailed thief in the fucking night. This is bullshit, Frank, and you know it, and I'm not leaving here without my satisfaction. So you better do something about it right fucking now.
Something like what?
Number one! I'm not testifying in any more of these circle jerks. I'm not some wind-up doll to be summoned and dismissed like a fucking toy. Number two, I want 2 souls before I leave here today. So take a memo, pass it on upstairs. I'll take you and whoever.
Me?
Yeah, you! I should have claimed you off the dung heap after Lee's surrender. And I want some Darvin. And a tall bourbon neat. What the fuck are you looking at?
I'd like to start my questioning.
Why? You got some place to be, dish rag?
No, when you're done crying, just let me know.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But maybe you can clear this up for me. What is today? Fuck with someone who can rip your heart out through your miserable dreaded cunt day? Is that what today is? Because unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure that today is not that day.
Today is your day to answer my questions. When you're through behaving like a petulant child, that is.
Cunningham, I'm directing you to hit the off switch on them flapping gums of yours. And you, Lou, with all due respect to your stature and station, could you cut me a break here?
Frank, I've always been good to you.
And I to you. Is that not so? Now listen, your complaint is duly noted will be kicked upstairs at the conclusion of today's testimony, okay? Now I need to call the damn jury back in here. What I need to know from both of you is that when I move to do so, that you two will conduct yourselves with a deportment and adjustment to the solemnity of these proceedings. Now can I have your words on that?
I'm ready to proceed, Your Honor.
With civility?
If I met with civility.
You know what, Cunningham? All those excuses you got wedged between that dubious cleavage of yours. Your mother, the bulimia, the herpes, the booze, the abortions, the rape, the bipolar pharmaceutical adventures, the twin suicide attempts, and the abject failures at every relationship you've ever attempted. All of these do nothing but band-aid the simple fact that there comes a time when the world stops rewarding potential. And when that time came for you, you threw yourself the world's biggest pity party and dedicated the rest of your short, pathetic, inconsequential life finding fault everywhere fucking else, but in the return gaze of your own cosmetically altered reflection, okay?
Satan, perhaps you...
Alpha Yumi! Fuck! On a good day, your cock measures 3.5 inches erect and goes off on a hair trigger if you so much as sneeze. Worse than that is your flatterer, and your love of God is utterly false, as is your hair color. And the sole reason you're so hot for that nasty train wreck over there is you're addicted to tragedy and punishment. Not because you think that you're a piece of shit, but because, Alfayumi, your self-diagnosis is correct. You're a bag of hot air and a weakling, and you will never, ever be loved. Either way, you, Cunningham, because you're incapable of giving it. But I think you already knew that about yourself, didn't you? You could bring the jury in now, Frank. Never let it be said that the Princess Tyre stood in the way of truth.
No my purse.
I'm a Buddha floating on a lily pad.
Hell for you, me. Bring 'em on in.
Yes, Your Grace. Notary, please now, quickly.
Counselor, you may begin.
Mr.
My
Satan,
apologies for my earlier behavior, Counselor. I had some bad fish at lunch.
Mr. Satan, you've had a long-standing feud with God, correct?
No, I love God.
You love God.
Very much. God did make me.
Okay, you say God made you.
God did make me. It says so in the Bible.
I know about the Bible, Mr. Satan. It also says in the Bible, in Matthew, I believe, in Matthew it says, a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, correct?
Correct.
So are you saying that you are good, or are you saying that God is bad?
I would never say that God is bad.
So then you're telling this court that you're good.
I don't know, Counselor. Are you good?
That's not what I asked you.
I'm so
Just
sorry.
answer the question.
I don't believe in good or bad.
Fine.
What I believe in is truth.
Fine. According to Job and Nehemiah, God created you in the first 3 days. True?
True.
You were an angel.
True.
You were present when God created earth.
True.
God then created man and gave him, not you, dominion over earth. True?
True.
You were in fact ordered by God to serve man. True?
True.
According to Genesis and Ezekiel, you then tempted Eve to eat the apple in order to try to prove that God had made an error in giving man dominion over the earth, at which point, according to Luke, you then fell from heaven like lightning and became God's adversary. And ever since that day, you've been competing for souls with God in order to try to prove that man is not worthy to rule over the earth. Isn't that true, Mr. Satan?
I don't compete with God. God competes with himself.
That's not what I asked
I'm
you.
just trying to answer
No,
your
you are
question.
not trying to answer
Your
my
Honor,
question.
I'm trying to form a response here.
Let him answer, Cunningham.
Your Honor, it doesn't...
Quiet! Proceed.
Thank you. Look, I didn't make you people, okay? God did. But there was a design flaw in his creation. He gives you free will. And to balance that out, you were designed to self-correct. But unlike the free will muscle, the self-correct muscle, it's not a particular favorite of the Homo sapiens. I'd say self-correct falls somewhere between colonoscopy and firing squad on most people's holiday wish lists. At any rate, the truth is, I do not have to actively compete for human souls. I do not have to lull, tempt, flatter, or deceive, because with God at the helm, and you people running around wreaking havoc, I'll be honest, I spend most of my time on a sofa watching one-hour dramas on HBO.
And what? When the concept of heaven, that didn't bother
There's
you
a
at all?
concept, Cunningham, called playing the cards that you were dealt. One can either accept that concept or one can lose one's heart, mind, and soul. I'd like to be more helpful to you here, really. That's what it all comes down to.
Is that so?
I'm just a fallen angel trying to keep my dick hard in a monotheistic society. Anything else you want to ask?
Your Honor, the witness is clearly lying. I move that his entire testimony be stricken from the record.
And I'll allow that, sorry. You consider what comes out of his mouth is your responsibility.
But he's obviously lying.
You want to expand your
Your
consciousness,
Honor!
Counselor?
If you ever, unless you have another question, Cunningham, I suggest you step down now.
But-
Forward or back? You've been instructed no one to be.
Why do you love God, Mr. Satan?
What's not to love?
Specifically, what specifically do you love about God?
I don't know where to
Pick
begin.
a spot!
I love God because he's all-powerful and all-forgiving. I love God because his justice is perfect. I love God because God loves me.
God loves you.
Very much. Gift baskets at Christmas and Hallmark greetings on all major holidays.
Stop it! If God loves you, then how come he threw you out of his
He
kingdom?
didn't throw me out. I left.
That's not what it says in the Bible.
You're right, they fudged that part. But that's because you people only really respond to fear and threat. If they told you straight up that there were no locks on the gates of heaven, you wouldn't even try to be halfway decent.
In other words, God lied.
God didn't write the Bible, you know that, right?
Of course I know
Then
that.
why would you say that God lied?
Mr. Satan, does God love Judas Iscariot? Yes or no?
God loves everybody.
And yet Judas is in hell. So what use is God's love to my client if he's allowed to languish in damnation?
Your client is free to leave whenever he wants to. Actually, I wish you would, because I can really use the room.
That's not true, and you know it.
Look, maybe you should sit down and catch
The
your
real
breath.
truth is that God's love for us is conditional. Isn't that right, Mr. Satan? You failed to meet those conditions, and he threw you in the trash. Judas failed, and he's in a catatonic stupor.
Your client succumbed to despair.
Yes! And if human despair is so powerful as to render God powerless over it, then what does that say about God, Mr. Satan? It says one of two things. Either God's not all-powerful and therefore useless, or God's love is conditional, which renders that love false and unworthy. Which one is it?
Well, Cunningham, please don't take this personally, but your father never really loved you or wanted you, right? And the only reason your mother didn't abort you was because she was afraid of scarring, and I think she told you that once, didn't she?
Mr.
Just
Satan!
because your parents resented you doesn't mean that God does.
I asked you a direct question and I'm demanding from you a direct answer.
The direct answer is that you are completely wrong.
Is God powerless or spiteful? I'm
You
ordering you to
are
answer.
powerless and spiteful, Cunningham, not God.
Your Honor, he's not answering.
What do you want me to do about it?
But he's not answering.
Open your heart
Shut
to God,
up!
Cunningham.
Your Honor!
I suggest you sit down, Cunningham.
But I'm not finished.
Then finish.
But Your Honor, this isn't fair.
It is what it is,
But Your
Cunningham.
Honor!
Cunningham!
Your Honor!
What, Cunningham? What?
You're a fucking liar!
I'm truly sorry you feel that way.
Further.
Elfayumi. Kraus?
No, Cross, no.
You're excused.
Thanks, Frank. Counselors, you availed yourselves as expected. And Elfayumi, you are completely wrong too. I'll be in touch.
Next witness.